Hey guys, AJ here, back with another one for you. So guys, what do we always say? Don't date nurses. Okay, guys, come on. Right? They have bad attitudes. They're on all this strong and independent.
I am woman, hear me roar, in numbers too big to ignore.
Foolishness. They bully each other. Guys, and guess what? They're all junkies too, man. Seriously. So guys, we're going to the dumpster fire known as TikTok and look at some of these nurses that are popping pills left and right. But before we do, like, subscribe, drop a comment, because it really helps keep this channel going, guys. Check out my second channel and my locals and the playlist at the end, guys. And let's get into this.
I promised I would do a story time on how addiction caused me to lose my nursing license temporarily and then how I got it back. So I'll try to make this short and squeeze everything in. In 2018, I got 2 misdemeanor charges. One was for cocaine, one was for a hypodermic instrument.
Look at that.
The state board ended up finding out. I still have no idea how they did because, as a lot of people are aware, a lot of nurses are afraid to come forward with the fact that they are struggling because they're so afraid to lose their nursing license. So they somehow found out and they called me. I actually was already getting ready to plan to go to rehab before I had even gotten arrested. I had a week left. I was getting ready to go. They had a bed for me. And I got a call the night before I was leaving telling me that my nursing license was going to be suspended.
Now, guys, there's a lot to talk about here. First of all, she's driving while she's doing this. And she's got her kid in the back of the car. And she's missing an eyebrow. Like, what is going on?
And it would be suspended indefinitely until I proved that I was fit to practice again. And they would send me the packet on what I needed to do. So in order to prove that you were fit to practice again, you had to have either a licensed clinical social worker, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, one of those types of doctors, do an extensive assessment on you and basically show that you are fit to practice again with different proof, whatever you need to show with rehab stays, clean urine screens, whatever. I did all of that for 2 years. I went to rehab right after in 2018, and then I had my daughter. I got pregnant, I had my daughter. I stayed clean for 2 years.
Of course she had a baby. Of course, some knucklehead, right? Gavin, the starving artist, or Nug knocked this chick up.
And then I decided to tackle the packet they gave me, and I figured I was ready to go back. So at that point, that's when I chose a clinical social worker in my area, and she did the assessment on me and deemed that I was fit to practice. Then she sends that to the board, and then they have up to, I think, 30 days to get back to you. They approved her decision. And then when you get suspended, you also get added to the Medicaid Inspector General's exclusion list of providers. It's basically Medicaid's way of protecting their residents or patients, making sure whatever happened to you isn't going to happen going forward. So that is actually even harder than getting your nursing license back. You can do either one in either order. I did the nursing license first because I figured the exclusion would get lifted easier if I could show that the New York State Board had already given me my license back. So that it's a big packet you have to write. You have to write a big long letter explaining everything you did and are continuing to do to show that you're not going to go back down that path that you had gone down. And then they have up to 120 days to either approve or deny your decision. And luckily they approved mine. So I got to go back to doing what I love. That's basically the short and sweet version.
So guys, she's a junkie who committed crimes and got her nursing license back. And guys, of course she's in New York, some woke state, right? Look at that. And someone in her comment says, I was on the exclusion list for 5 years. Random drug tests twice a month, NA and AA twice a week. The fees were unreasonable. I also had crazy restrictions, so I couldn't find a job. And she replies and says, yes, they can definitely, absolutely make it feel like they're against us. They should. Guys, do you agree with me that if a nurse is a junkie who's slamming friggin' heroin and friggin' popping pills, why should she be in charge of patients? Why should she be around drugs? Anyways, absolutely insane. And the only reason why this is a thing is because women are the ones in nursing, and they're never held accountable for anything. And guys, her hashtags, you ready? Hashtag we do recover. Hashtag addicts in recovery. Hashtag nurses in recovery. Hashtag nurses of TikTok. Hashtag registered nurse. Hashtag nursing license suspended. Hashtag suspension lifted. Hashtag recovering out loud. Hashtag and proud. Hashtag my passion. Hashtag recovery. Hashtag addiction. Hashtag sobriety. Hashtag story time, guys. Clown world.
I have heard crazy stories about nurses stealing narcs.
Look at that.
I've heard it. I've even witnessed it. Well, not like witnessed it, but like seen, like been suspicious of it, you know? Did you know you can go to jail for it? Not just lose your license. You know, if you steal narcs from Medicaid and Medicare patients, that you are held responsible for every single patient that you stole from. You're not stealing from the patient, you're stealing from the state. And I just don't understand how you lose your license, get your license back somehow, and then lose it again.
Okay,
stealing narcs though, you gotta be freaking stupid. You gotta be stupid. You gotta be kidding me. You know how easy it is to lose your license when you steal narcs? So you can go to jail for that. There are times where like you go and pop a narc and it like flies on the floor, you know, shoots out of the bubble pack, you know? I've had nurses that are like, oh, I dropped it on the floor. Will you sign it out with me? I already tossed it. I'm like, I gotta see that first before I sign it off with you. I have heard crazy.
There you go, guys. She said it. She says she's seen nurses lose their licenses for stealing drugs and then get their license back and lose it again. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Can you imagine? You have a nurse, right? And you're in the hospital, and your nurse is
a pot smoking slut,
right? And she's taking all your drugs when you're coming out of a surgery. You know what I'm saying? Look at that, man! Oh man! Oh man! And guys, their hashtags. Oh, someone says, "Wait till you see what pharmacy techs have been doing." Wow. This person says, my state sends nurses to rehab 3 times to help them off of our tax dollars. Watch. This next person here says, we just had 2 cards of narcotics go missing 2 days after a new round of travel nurses came through. Man. Someone says, my ex-wife was doing this. Someone says, this happened to me while in the hospital recovering from a C-section. I didn't get any pain medicine at all. Damn. And guys, you all know that if they're stealing drugs from work, they're going to be stealing stuff from you too. Making you spend money on them, and your money's going to go missing out of your account. You know what I'm saying? And guys, their hashtags. Hashtag nurse. Hashtag nurses of TikTok. Hashtag nurse talk. Hashtag long-term care. Hashtag nursing home. Hashtag mom. Hashtag mom talk. Hashtag working mom. Hashtag nurse problems. Hashtag nurses of TikTok. Clown world.
What up, Nurse Gang? What up, TikTok? So, today on Nurses in the News, headline reads, former director of nursing charged, accused of stealing opiates from patients at Summitville retirement home. Let's take a deeper look into this.
This is the director of nursing. Damn.
What started as the discovery of 30 missing pills snowballed into more than 250 pills unaccounted for at Madison County Retirement Home.
Damn.
A Medicaid fraud investigator with the Office of Indiana Attorney General investigated Summit Health and Living in Summitville after employees' concerns with the director of nursing at the time, Jennifer Wilson. According to the investigator's report, the facility was made aware of a discrepancy in its narcotic count on February 13th. As part of state and federal guidelines, SHL tracks all controlled substances and keeps a narcotic count sheet, even for narcotics that are due to be destroyed.
Good.
Wilson, a registered nurse, was tasked with destroying hydrocodone pills prescribed to a resident. When a fellow administrator followed up with Wilson, she was told the issue was quote unquote taken care of. However, the coworker could not find the narcotic count sheet. Court documents show that Wilson's colleague went into her office to find the sheet and instead found 30 hydrocodone pills concealed in a manila folder in the back of a desk drawer.
Look at that. Trying to be slick. Trying to put him in a manila folder. Clown world.
Wilson was questioned by the facility's administrator the next day and admitted she had stolen the medication for personal use due to her addiction.
Dang.
An internal audit found approximately 261 pills unaccounted for and believed to have
261 pills.
been stolen. The pills in question were hydrocodone and Percocet. During the investigation, Wilson revealed she would take the pills that had been marked for discontinuation. She said she was at SHL for a few months before she gave into her addiction. Wilson was booked into the Madison County Jail on obtaining controlled substance by fraud, possession of narcotic, and furnishing false and fraudulent information charges.
Damn.
A Fox 59 update now as a nurse in Madison County has been arrested after being accused of stealing medications. Jennifer Wilson is the former director.
look at she's even got the Karen cut.
of nursing at Summit Health and Living in Summitville. She was fired after being accused of stealing the medication of patients at the home. Investigators say she used her position to divert the medication so she could use them for herself. Court documents show she admitted to investigators that she had addiction issues. She's facing multiple felony charges this morning.
Nurse gang, I said it before and I'll say it again. They are not sending nurses to rehab. You are going to jail. You are getting a felony if you steal opiates while at work. If you divert drugs, you're going to jail. What are your thoughts? Let's
There
talk.
you go, guys. And guys, people in the comments here. I hope she gets the help she needs. So sad. You guys know that if this was a guy who was a junkie and stealing drugs, man, they wouldn't care. They would not care. Look at that, guys. Man, oh man, oh man. Guys, I'm going to make this a whole series in and of itself. Nurses being junkies, because this is everywhere, guys. Guys are hashtags. Hashtag nurses of TikTok. Hashtag nurse life. Hashtag nurse gang. Apparently. Hashtag directors of nursing. Hashtag Summitville. Hashtag opiates. Hashtag nurses in the news. Hashtag nursing home. Hashtag Indianapolis. Guys, don't date them. 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 Don't date them, guys. Don't mess with them. It'll be the worst thing you ever do. So, alright, you guys. This is AJ. I appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe. Check out the playlist. And I'm out of here, guys. Have a good one.